Hello. Hello. Is it playing at your end? You can,
yeah.
You can turn it off from your side so we don't get the feedback. Let me turn it, yeah, or mute your, or put it on silent so that you're able to.
Yeah.
You can turn it off from your side so we don't get the feedback. Let me turn it, yeah, or mute your, or put it on silent so that you're able to. All right, guys, welcome. How you doing?
Doing pretty good.
All right. So if you are watching it on YouTube as well, just lower your volume so because I'm getting feedback from you guys. All right, guys, welcome. How you doing?
Doing pretty good.
All right. So if you are watching, lower your volume. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Focus on Liberia. Our topic tonight is Liberian artists. So we'll be talking about Liberian arts. My guest is Mr. Leslie Loman from Monrovia and Frank Morris from Texas. Both are Liberians. All right, so guys, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thank you.
All right, before we start, let me do a little presentation of Mr. Loman's artwork, just to get us in the mood. Okay. And to our viewers, we apologize. This is, we're having technical difficulties, so bear with us.
Oh, that's cool. Incredible.
Right. That's the artwork of one of our guests tonight, Mr. Leslie Lome.
Yeah. Wow.
This is Leslie. You have time to describe whatever you see there. I know it's fast.
So you can, if you can just hold, yeah, that's cool.
All right.
Yeah, I can describe all of these.
Okay, just briefly.
This is actually, this is the, it's Kim Johnson Road that is passing right in front of the mansion. You know, the road that comes and passes in front of the mansion.
Okay.
Before getting to the University of Liberia. And there's a sketch that I did of one of the our rural settlements. And I painted it later on. Yeah, this is the process to that sketch.
Nice.
Yeah. And there's another work. There's another work that I did some time ago. This is a sketch. Painting. Yeah, this is a close up from the sketch that we saw earlier. Yeah. You know, it's a village town. Most of those towns along the road. This piece was actually presented to former President Salif, you know, by some group of ladies. This is right in front of the mansion, the Capitol building. They have street road that is going. This is a portrait I did some time ago. Yeah. Yeah, this was a prize, and this is an interview that was done by CCTV. And yeah, this is another watercolor I did some years back. Yeah. Yeah, I did this for my church. The finished painting is in my church today, actually. Yeah. The title is finished, yeah. And that's my church also. That is my church. That's the church. We have the anniversary. You can see it on the copy.
Oh, okay.
Anniversary. They have T-shirts, they have plaques, key holders, and you know, a lot of souvenirs. So this is the stages when I was doing the painting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and we'll go into that.
Oh, that's me. That's 1985. That was some BWI. That's right in Kakata, BWI entrance. Yeah. These are flower sellers, you know. People sell flowers along the road. Well, this paint is in the state now. Someone bought it. Go to the state. Yeah.
It's beginning you're drafting now.
Yeah, that's my
sketch.
Studio. Yeah, that's the home studio at the Mascot. Yeah. Relaxing there, taking a look. Yeah, it's always good you actually be satisfied. Yeah, you have to be satisfied with what you're doing before you start applying colors. Yeah. Yeah.
It's amazing, man.
Yeah, cool. Thank you, guys.
Man. Well, that's once again, look, guys, welcome to Focus on Liberia. Normally we are on Facebook, but tonight we're having some technical difficulty with our Facebook Live, so we are on YouTube, and it's all good. But before we start, we want to we lost someone. You know, Focus on Liberia. We are bereaved. One of those people. You know, what we do here at Focus on Liberia, we have people in the background who help us with ideas, with advice, with mentoring, with critiquing, with show ideas and everything else. We lost one of those men just 2 days ago, and that's Dr. Emmanuel Dolo. So we just want to take this time to remember Dr. Dolo. You know, this is he's been very, very much, you know, involved with what we do here. He supported us. And let me see if I can find a picture of Dr. Dolo. Right. This is Dr. Emmanuel Dolo. We are mourning his loss. This happened like 2 days ago. Dr. Dolo has been, you know, very much supportive of our work. He advises us. Sometimes we bounce ideas off him. He's one of those who, you know, support us and who give us ideas, who we talk to sometimes when we are having issues regarding which direction to take. Some of his what he did for us is, so what you see here, he's one of those who help us to get where we are today. He passed away. We want to, in a special way, we want to extend our condolences to the bereaved family, the wife, Mrs. Abba Hamilton Dolo, the daughter Bijou, and the rest of the family. We say we are very, very sorry for the passing of our friend, our brother, our advisor, our consultant, and Focus on Liberia. And we pray that God himself will comfort the family.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's our own tragic news here. So let's start with guys. Once again, I want to welcome you to Focus on Liberia. We have two guests. Our first guest here is Mr. Frank Zobon Morris. Frank Morris is 37 years young. He's a freelance artist and a graphic designer. Currently, he works for Pratt and Whitney as an inspector. Frank was born in Douala, that's Maserado County on the Bushra Island, and migrated to the States at the age of 13, residing in Lowell, Massachusetts. In Lowell, he's continuing his education from middle school to high school. He graduated from the Lowell High School, that's in Lowell, Massachusetts, went on to the Massachusetts College of Arts and Design, where he obtained his Bachelor in Fine Arts. That's Arts and Design. He got a BFA. He also got certificate in Web and Graphic Design from CDIABU in Waltham, Massachusetts. He has some years of experience in digital art and fine art. He got most of his inspiration from his surrounding. Frank has done many work, medium of art from paintings, murals, and creating identity brands to web designing. He's done all that. Currently, Frank lives in Dallas, Texas, where he worked for Coca-Cola as a production artist in the media department. He also manages a small advertising firm where he creates advertising and marketing and also does branding. Frank has two brothers and two sisters. He also have two precious kids, and with his fiancée. So Frank, once again, I say welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thank you.
All right, our next guest is Mr. Leslie Loman. Leslie is no stranger to Liberian art. And before I even introduce him, he made a very powerful statement that I want to read before I introduce him. He said, art, unlike any other line of work, has its roots deep in nature. What we paint or write or sing is actually a reflection of ourselves that captivates the viewer, penetrates deep into the imagination, and whispers so softly and yet so meaningfully into the soul. Leslie, his professional experience started in 1980 to present, or as an independent artist in 1993 to present. He was an independent consultant from 2005 to 2015 as a cartoonist and illustrator for the Daily Observer newspaper. From 1992 to 93, he worked as an instructor at Don Bosco Polytechnic or the Don Bosco Youth Center. He's an artist, a delineator, comprehensive design consultant, a draftsman, ACE planning consultant group. All that work you did, Leslie, that's beautiful. Leslie is a graduate of Booker T. Washington Institute in Calcutta in 1987. He was born in Dambala, Grand Cape Mount County. He's a freelance artist, resident cartoonist for the Daily Observer, we mentioned that earlier, from 2005 to 2016. He speaks few languages. He speaks English, French, and Mende. And Leslie's work has been praised. One of those who praised the work is the renowned Liberian author, Alita Romeo Mark. He said the artwork of Mr. Leslie Loman stands, in my opinion, with the best European artists of the 20th century. Leslie he has done a lot of work throughout Africa. He has participated in a lot of exhibitions. He was on CNN at one point, and CNN described him as Liberia's most celebrated artist. Leslie, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thank you very much, Dennis. It's my pleasure. Thank you.
All right. So guys, first of all, and I want us to start on the very basic. Frank, you are a graphic designer. You also did a little bit of painting. Just tell me exactly what you do, and when you say graphic designer, what does that mean? And all the different artwork you do.
Okay, well, graphic design. For me, graphic design is almost, you know, taking your art, uh, um, 2D art. I mean, a regular art, and then transforming it, into a digital, a digital format. So, pretty much like a basic idea. For example, so my favorite pieces of graphic design is creating a logo. And create a logo, just going through the creative process, from sketching, because, to start any piece, you have to sketch it out first before you can bring it to the computer. The computer will just help you to translate that, translate your idea to refine it. But everything must be done, through sketching and the whole creative process. The computer is the last stage. So, I just found that whole process, very, very interesting and very fun. Um, um, you know, Starting the sketches and then bringing it into the computer software as Photoshop and Illustrator that I use. That's where the creative process also takes over, as far as, refining your ideas. So, that's just the basic, of graphic design. And with that, you can go anywhere with it. It's an open field. You can play with colors. You can play with words. You can your imagination just go beyond. So, that's what I really love about graphic design. And the work is never complete. So you can always come back to it 5 years later and then redo it again. That's one of the beauty of art, and especially digital art to me. Is you can always come back to it. You present it to somebody, and then, like I said, a couple of years later, they'll, oh, I want to change the color. I have another idea. So, it never ends. So.
So you take an artwork, like for example, logo. And first of all, before I forget, let me mention that the logo behind me was done by Frank. So he's the one who did this logo for Focus on Liberia. So Frank, once again, thank you. So Frank, you were saying for graphic design is a regular artwork. So you take this artwork, are you drawing it with hand before you take that and change it to computer graphics, or how does that work? Frank, are you there? All right, let me come to you. Why we have some maybe technical issue with Frank. So Leslie, tell me about the different form of art that you do.
Oh, I do illustrations for book, mainly for readers. I do illustrations for book, basically for children, because actually when you want to encourage people to read, and when kids start school, children start school early, the first time what they really want to see, what's going to be attractive to them, is the images, the pictures, the drawings that we do, and then as they move from preschool, they come to grade 1, 2, and 3. You still have to play with illustrations and text. And as people go higher in class and the educational level, they don't even need images any longer. So yes, I do a lot of illustration for children books. And I also do cartoon. I still do cartoons today. I did cartoon for the Daily Observer for like 10 years. And I really had a nice time doing that, because with my cartoons, I was able to interact with so many, facets of our Liberian society, from politicians to educator, you know, so activists, so many faces of our society. My cartoon there on those lines. And then beyond that, I'm a painter. Actually, I started painting from 1993, but I was drawing before that time. I've always been drawing. I've been drawing for a very long time, from the time I realized myself as a human being. 6, 7 years of age, I've been drawing. So today I'm a professional painter, and I'm a freelance artist. I still do illustrations for entities, for individuals as well. And yes, I do painting. My painting, I do watercolor painting, I do acrylic, and I do art. So I use all those different media to express myself, either on canvas or on paper or on other surfaces.
Good. Let's talk about the history of painting, especially in Liberia. So I was reading and I read that painting started as far back as 5 billion BCE.
Yes.
that kind of struck me. So let's talk about the history of painting and then come to Liberia and see, what have been done for this kind of work of art in Liberia.
Yes, as you rightly mentioned, painting started many centuries ago. Yeah, reading and research and collaborations have taught me that drawing, the art of drawing, started actually with the art of drawing before people went into painting. People started applying colors and that. The art of drawing actually started before people started to speak, before language was invented. People always communicated through images, and people are still doing it today. It just refined. As Frank now, he's a graphic artist today, he's a graphic designer. They now are using the method that was used several centuries ago by our ancestors. Today, you get to the airport, you see signs that give you directions of where to go and where not to go, who to go here and who is not to go there, where you have the female, where you have the male, where you have dogs, where you have animals, all these things. These were done many centuries ago. But today it's done it's still happening today in a refined way. That's the kind of work people like Frank has devoted his time and studied still. That's what he's doing today. So people have been drawing for a very long time, and then they moved to painting, and then but that's global. That's like global. But coming back home to Liberia, we also have a long history about our artists, not just painters. Of course, we have our musicians, our fashion designers that today that run shops and boutique and export things. But before then, you have fashion designers even in our villages that used to make the country club and sew it the way they wanted to do it. And people wore those things and go to events and special functions. So yeah, art has been around for so many years. Unfortunately, we do not really have a systematic recording of these things. So we are receiving it through word of mouth, as the historian would say. But there are plans now to actually have these things recorded in black and white so that you can know where certain art forms in Liberia started from, who were the people that are good at weaving, where the weaving started from, and then who are good at pottery, making clay pots and other things, and the blacksmith, who are these people, where did they start from, all these things, there are now plans to start documenting them. But at the moment, it just spread all around. We have it everywhere. You go anywhere part of Liberia, you see people doing some form of art. But we have to find out what part of Liberia did this form of art begins. Are we seeing it in the region where it started from? Or has it been brought to this region by people that left from where it started? So all these things. But let me come closer, fast forward. I know a couple of artists before me and are with me today, and others are going to come. People like us, people like myself and other artists that are still practicing in Liberia today, we were opportune to have work along with artists such as Wantu Major, who is now in the States, and Anthony Nakla, who is also in the US, and Sieta Mensa. There were people like Sieta Mensa before Wantu. You have Nora Musu before Wantu Major. And there are a lot of these people. You know, you have Aravanja Richard, you know, that was well known in this country. But there's so many forms of art. You know, people thought he was just a, you know, someone that a sculptor. Well, he also painted, and then he was also a great musician. He was a great dancer. There are a lot of things he did. I've been talking with some family members. That's how I got to know these things. But there are plans now to document these things. So coming in our days, I started painting professionally from 93. But before then, people were painting. And we have art clubs and art organizations in Liberia. I remember right after the 1980s and 1980, 1981, there was this club that was called YACOM, with the Young Artists Club of Monrovia. And it was headed by different artists. My brother, once upon a time, was one of the leaders of that group, Andy. I mean, you have one, two, you have the late Aaron Brown, you know, and a lot of artists, you know, painters like myself. You move from painting, you go even into the performing art. You have a lot of people. You have, if you go on the music scene, you have so many people. You have Fatu Gayflor, you have the Limba Bird, you have Mieta Fambula, which is called who we all call Big Sister, the diva of Liberian music today, you know, and Molly Dolly, a lot of, we have all these people. What needs to be done actually is to have these things, or what these great artists did or are doing, is to have it recorded. And I'm glad that you, through your portal here tonight, this is one of the ways to record these things. So thumbs up to you guys, man, for doing what you guys are doing.
Thank you. So Frank, let me come to you to lay all this out to someone like me who does not know anything about these things. Sometimes it becomes blurry. What's the difference? You know, all this different artwork. So I was asking you even for graphic design, because I see some beautiful artwork right behind you there. So do you draw with hand and then take that and put it in the computer and change it, or what is the process?
Yeah, so sorry about getting caught up earlier. So like I explained earlier, for me, my process is always sketching. You know, I mean, that's why they taught us in school always, because you know, sketching of your ideas are very important. You know, so you know, even if it's a simple logo design, like a square or something, you know, start with the sketches, because you know which one of the sketches that you will choose from. So I pretty much do thumbnail sketches. Let me show you an example of what I'm talking about. So I have a piece here that I did back in college. Is a logo project. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's called the Golden Apple Foundation. So this project, it was pretty much about it just told us to create a logo from an apple. So, you know, and you have to go through the whole process. So this whole book, let's see if we can show the viewers a little bit what I'm referencing about. So this was that was the final logo, but
okay,
it took a lot of stages to get to this point. You know, pretty much through this whole book, I'll just go back to one of the pages here. It's a sketch, like I'll reference those. These are all sketches that you will do, because these are all very important, you know, going back to your ideas and nitpicking, you know, how you want, what kind of font to use or what kind of color to use. So, you know, the process is different for everyone. So for me, it's just creating a sketch, and then I'll bring the sketch into Photoshop or Illustrator, and then bring it in, and then go to the next phase of it, which would be you know, using a font, you know, and then that's the whole process of create what kind of font will match, go well with this logo, and then the color, You know, I always like to do a black and white version and a color version. You know, and then I mean, it's a fun process, man. You know, it gets the mind going, and you know, but it all starts back from the basics. You know, sketching out. You know, because
Okay.
you know, some people will just get it and then run straight to the computer, but you know, you don't want to do that. You know, for me, so.
Mm-hmm. So when and how did your passion for artwork begin?
Oh man, that's a great question. For me, as far back as I remember, back in Liberia, I think I was, might have been maybe about 8 or 9 years old. You know, my great grandmother told me, you know, I used to always draw. I just started drawing figures from the Bible. You know, that's you know, just drawing pictures and just tracing it and referencing, you know, stories from Moses, you know, and from Moses, and then I did a piece for David and Goliath. So little sketches like that, and then as time went on, I started drawing army. So I was into that, and then when I came to the States, while in school, I think that's what my passion really grew. While in class, I'll just, you know, sketch my classmates, you know, without them paying attention, or even sketch my teachers. And then after class, I'll take that portrait and show it to them, you know. And I just started doing that as time went on, and you know, and people used to tell me, "Oh man, you should be a cartoonist. You should do this. You should do that." But you know, drawing was fun. I mean, drawing came naturally. It was just, you know, I would just sit in class. Like I said, I would sit in class and it just, you know, not that I wasn't paying attention or anything, but you know, I'll just draw. I'll just stare out the window and just draw something, draw an object, and I used to collect those, and I did that every time, and and that's where the passion came from, man. And then and as time went on, uh, when I got to college, and then I saw graphic design when I got introduced to. Actually, got introduced to it in high school. They gave us a project on how to create a music album, and I saw my teacher, my Photoshop teacher. He went through the process, and I'm like, oh man, this is pretty interesting. You can actually, you know, take a 2D art, pretty much your ideas, and just do it on a computer, and it has everything there for you. You know, you can choose your color, you know, just do everything at once. You know, less time at the time, but it's actually more work. You know, so you know, that's where the passion began, man, from back in Liberia,
Okay.
growing up. Yes.
Leslie, what's about you?
Yeah, honestly, it's just that my sketch part of my sketchbook is I didn't bring it here on the table. It's just like I have it in the room, but I have the very sketch part that he was just showing you there. The friend was just showing you. Honestly, is the key. You have to be able to use your hands to do a sketch on a paper. That is fundamental. That is basically fundamental, because that is when your creativity actually comes out. As I said, once you have to do that before you get to a computer for enhancement and aesthetic, but it has to come from your hands. It has to come from your head, from your brain, from your imagination onto the paper. And there's nothing that can substitute this movement of the hand. You see, even on a tablet, when you're doing like this on a tablet or on a computer screen or on a Wacom or whatsoever, there is always a delay. There's a slight delay that is not spontaneous as it can be with the hand. And there is something natural about that feeling, because when you make your stroke, your brain is telling you where it's going, and it goes there, and you stop where you want it to stop. It's unlike on the tablet. It's unlike on the Wacom. It still goes, but you have a minus point some percent. So, but when you have done your sketch on paper with pencil, And then now you are working on the computer. You take it into, as you say, into Photoshop or Illustrator, and you trace it, and you're going on. You you are fine because you are refining what you've done before. The actual creative process is over. You are just refining this thing now. You are just polishing this thing. But as a real creative person, the computer is not a place to well, some people do it there probably, yes, but honestly, most artists will tell you that they work on paper. You have to make this traditional way of doing it on paper,
Right.
and then you
Right.
take it to the computer. There are some people that are not used to that. Yes, I mean, they are an exception to this what we are saying here. But
Mhm.
when
So,
I would
so,
always
Leslie, so Leslie, let's talk about your passion. When and how it began.
I started drawing from a very early age, also from the age 6, 7. When I used to do strange things. Like in the days in the 70s, we didn't have these phones today that you have. You just take a photo and you share to your friends, as we're doing today on our phones, on our smartphones. Even just in the 80s, you have what they call the Polaroid camera. That this guy would take your photograph, and this thing will just eject this card, and after a few seconds, be developing. Right? We all saw that. But before that age, before that time, yeah, you have one photographer I'm from the village. I was born in Dambalada. So you have a photographer that will come to the town or in this district, and he will go around taking photos of families and people and events. And he will take this photo like today, and he goes back to Monrovia, and maybe after a week or two before he comes back with a photo. So that's how it was done. I don't know whether you saw that, but that's how the photographer used to work in the days.
Yeah.
What happens when they do these things and he's gone? I like, what is this? So what I used to do, I would call my sisters, not my parents, because they don't have time for that. They knew I was just kidding. But I would call my sisters, my brothers. I say, hey, you guys stand and let me do a photo of you guys. And I would make this makeup, this make believe camera with stakes and cups, can, empty cans. And I would like take a photo of them. And then I would go in the room and draw and try to remember what I saw, how they were standing, where they were, and I would do the drawing. And I would come from the room and show them. They say, oh, they were like happy. So that's how I started. Then when I went to school, as friend was saying, I would ask my friends, and draw them. And I know it was not perfect, but to me it was great. Today I can, for sure, I need to now I can tell they were just fun. But that's how I started, and that thing stuck with me. And then we started to see movie posters coming around, and then I would look at it, the stuff on the movie posters, and I would draw it. I would look at, poster that advertising certain product that would come to the village, and I would draw it. Whether it was a Colgate, whether it was some other product, I would, whether it was a toothpaste or something, anything that was being advertised on poster, I would reproduce it. And then you have to have, we have to have the musicians coming, like Prince Nico with his poster, the record, and I will look at it and draw it. I draw people, a set of, musical, performance on stage. I started with these things, and it was going well. Then I went and started drafting, but the art has always been in me, and it stayed in me. So, and I was always drawing. Then it was in 1993. I came across some artists that were planning an exhibition. They said, "Oh, but you draw so well. You can come. We're having an exhibition." And then that's how I appeared on the show. And since then, yes, I've been painting as a professional. I mean, I've been painting professionally.
Do you have any formal training?
No, I've never been to any formal school of art. As you may well know, there is no formal school of art here. We have art being taught in a couple of schools, some private schools. I also have an after-school art program running for children. And we have arts going on at the University of Liberia as an elective for students that, that just want to do something to get their points up. And but we haven't really have former art institute here. But thanks to reading, thanks to doing research, and thanks to collaborating with artists from outside of Liberia, and thanks to our big brothers and sisters that have been in the art that read. We have some Liberian artists that went to art school and came back, and then we were able to tap into that whatsoever they learned out there. The late Caesar Harris, he was a great mentor, and the late Aaron Brown, he was very good. He was not just a big brother to me. He was more than that. He was a great guy. And all these are people that studied art in America and then came back to Liberia to share with us what they learned. We've added that to our personal experience.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. So Frank, I know you have a formal training.
Yeah, for painting.
For graphic design or no, for painting you don't have also.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. For painting, I mean, it's just something that came naturally to me. While in art school, I just I didn't take any painting classes or anything. It's just one of those things that came naturally. I just did on my own. I actually have my first portrait that I did to show you guys.
Oh, that's cool.
I did this. Yeah, my very first painting. As I still kept. I mean, I think the year is on there. 2006.
Yes,
but, just playing with colors, man. I mean, that's the fun part of it. Just mixing colors and getting what you really want. And some of these paintings in the back here, you guys see. There's a skyline of Boston, Massachusetts, and this one on the top is just something I play with, just an idea that came to head. Just a village scene, just from the mind, and that's the best thing about art, whatever you think of, bringing it to life, and actually seeing it. So that's what gave me inspired.
And that was my second question, as to where you get your inspiration from.
Oh, inspiration, man! It just like I said, everyday life, just everything that's going around my surroundings, from little kids to current events. Sometimes I'll actually the billboard ads, like while driving, you see certain ads, on a billboard, and then you to myself, I'll be like, oh, maybe I can do that better, and just getting references from that and thinking about it, and then making it in your version, and making it better for myself, and that's pretty much where I get my inspirations, and just everything I see, from TV to, like I said, ads to, just a guy walking his dog. Sometimes I'll just sit back and just, my mind's always going as an artist. Is just running 24 hours. So
let me show one of your work.
Okay.
So you do things on Liberia as well.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that right there is a t-shirt design that I haven't put it on a t-shirt, but just an idea, and whenever I have these ideas, I just like to complete it and save it. So whenever I have the time, I'll to see it come live on a shirt. But yeah, it was an idea of a shirt, and that right there is a logo design. It's actually coming on a t-shirt pretty soon. But my clothing line that I have coming up next summer, by God's grace, Root Kings, it's called.
Root Kings. Oh wow.
Yeah. And that's a invitation design, a save the date.
Oh, someone having a program.
Yes. And I do wedding invitations, and yeah, just playing around with the birth month idea. These are all shirt ideas that I created.
Great. So do you sell your do you make money from your work?
Oh yes, definitely, man. Uh, I sold a few of my paintings. I haven't really done a really exhibition yet. It's something that I plan on doing someday where I can really do a series and do that. But as far as the design part of it, yes. I sold. I've done a lot of T-shirts. I do a lot of logos. The identity brands. I created. Identity brands for clients. Let me just get this piece and show you guys. So this right here is my clothing line that I had back in 2010. So these are models, friends that I had modeled some of my shirts. So
Okay.
it's called KYR, Know Your Roots. So it's an idea behind it. So and it's an online t-shirt company, but yeah, I have a few clientels. I have clients that contact me when a new work done. I do, I do album covers and posters, business card, logos. So whenever we can make money, we try to do it.
All right. So who are some of your major clients?
My major clients, I've done work for churches. My church, I've done work for them. I've done work for schools. I've done work for the company I used to work for. We used to do advertising for convenience stores. So when you enter the convenience stores, we did the advertising for Coca-Cola products, Red Bull ads, and I've done work for DJs, musicians. So and people always coming around. Photographers they'll need logos done. So I always have clients running in and out.
Good. So how can people, where can your paintings or your work be purchased? How do we, if we want to buy that, where do we go?
Right now, I'm currently working on an e-commerce site where I'll actually have that out, and where people can purchase it. But for now, the blog that you just showed some of my work, I just try to have some pieces out there where people can see on my Tumblr blog, frankmurraysdesign.com, frankmurraydesign.tumblr.com, and then like I said, I'm working on an actual website, and I'll have everything on there. But people can go on there and send me messages, if you want certain things done, or if you want to get in contact with me, and we can go from there.
Who are some of the artists that inspire you?
So my artist, as far as graphic design, is an artist, a guy called Paul Rand. He did, he's a very talented graphic designer. He did the Macy's logo. He did Sunoco logo. So he was one of the guys that I already got the creative ideas from. And as far as paintings, I'll say Picasso, and also what's his name? Some there's a few famous American painters that that I kind of try to mimic their styles, and just gain that creative ideas from them. But yeah, but I pretty much just I pretty much stick to the graphic design side of things, because that's where the trend is leading these days.
Mm-hmm. Right. And when you were listing your client, you did not list focus on Liberia.
Oh.
What?
Of course.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are just joining us, this is Focus on Liberia. We are discussing Liberian artists. My guest, Mr. Frank Morris, he lives in Dallas, Texas, and also Mr. Leslie Loman, who lives in Monrovia. Leslie, due to technical issue, he just got disconnected, but he's going to be joining us shortly. So Frank, I know everything has its ups and downs. What are some of the challenges in doing what you do?
Oh man, so for me, some of the challenges, just dealing with certain clients, man. After doing work, because it being an artist is so some people think it's just something easy, for some people that don't know the whole process behind it, but because if for me, if somebody gives you a project to do, somebody say create this artwork for me or create this logo, and everything is up to you to think visually. So sometimes thinking visually is the hard part. Just getting that initial idea down, and then doing that, and then some of the challenges I find when after going through that process, when you present it to a client, and then they change their mind, they say, oh no, I didn't envision it that way. Can you add a certain color, or can you change this? And then you have to go back and then redo it. So I just some of the few challenges as far as on the graphic design side of things, because in painting as well, I'm sure Mr. Leslie would attest to that. Especially after doing the paintings, doing paintings actually takes longer. I believe because it's hours and hours of mixing paint and doing that. And then after doing the whole process and then having a client change their mind on it, I think it gets a little frustrating to me. So that's just why some of the few technical issues I've seen. And then as far as the graphic design, having some technical problems. But like I said, man, for graphic design or design, you can always go back and change it. But just having a constant change and that's what gets me sometimes.
Good. All right. Okay. Leslie, I know in Liberia, and while you answer the question, I'll be playing some of your artwork again. But what we see most of the time, we see these marks and all those woodwork. Is it more popular than the painting that you do? Or just talk to me about the various artwork in Liberia, and what are the different areas that they are used, and what is the response of the Liberian people to those kind of art? Do Liberians buy them, or which one people like more, and the rest of it?
Yes, Liberians are now contributing to the art industry somehow. Not every one of them doing that though, but you have few Liberians that are patronizing what we do today. And those are like what I do personally as an artist. I have Liberians that are, I don't want to say the part of the elite class, no, but Liberians that have value for art, they can buy my artwork. And they can buy artwork that are done by some of my colleagues. And then that's one aspect of it. But you also have other forms of art that is being produced and marketed in Liberia. For instance, you have people doing, as I mentioned earlier, there are people that do the country club, and they do that and they sell the cloth just like that, and people buy it and sew it to the way they want to sew it. You also have people that are doing wood carving, as you were saying earlier. You have these guys that are doing the wood carving, and you have other people that are doing painting, but not to the way that we do the painting. They do what I would definitely call the kind of tourist art, tourist painting, where they just take a brush and just, run it through the canvas and come off an image. And when tourists come around the country, they don't really bother too much, they are okay. They don't want to get something from Liberia. So they'd be happy to buy it and carry it as a souvenir from Liberia. And it goes for the marks also. You have the doing what they call today, they are calling they call it passport mark. So you have marks by different 16 tribes in Liberia. And so they do these small marks and people come and buy them. One reason is it's cheaper than the painting that some of us are doing. So people feel comfortable and they don't buy it too deep into the economy or into their pocket or into their saving. So they buy these things and go. Having said that, there are people who will come into the country and they want to buy an artwork, an actual artwork. And they will look for that piece of artwork, and no matter the price, they will buy it. Because what happens actually, when you buy the painting, you are actually buying a piece of the artist. It's like music, you know. When you are playing the music and you know this guy that sang the song or did this song, you put yourself in the rhyme of this person. So when you come and buy an artwork and you take it home, whatever you're going to take your art piece, you take it home. You have to have a story about the artwork. You have to have a history about the artwork. You have to know the story about the artist that created the artwork. But if you just went down the road or you went on the beach or you went in front of some of the hotels and bought a painting and take it home and carry it into your country, it's just a souvenir from Liberia. But it doesn't really say who is the artist and what has the artist done, what are their achievements, you know, nationally and internationally, and what have they contributed to the artwork, and who all have their collection, where can you find their collections. These are what matters. These are what make people to look for an art piece, to buy it. And also the message, what is in the painting? What makes the painting? What is portrayed in the artwork matters a whole lot. The technique the artist use also is another thing. That's why I always tell my students, when you sketch before you paint, because before you paint, you have to sketch. From your sketch, you develop your drawing. From your drawing, you go to painting. So, why would someone want to buy your painting? Why do you have a lot of paintings on the beach? People got paintings all along the beaches selling it around here. But why would someone leave the paintings that are on the street and walk to you or their home to you and buy your work? It's the way you present yourself as a professional. You have to be professional. If you are not a professional person, no one is going to take you as a professional person or as a professional artist. Exactly. So you have to be professional in the way you talk to people, the way you do your painting, the way you do your artwork. Composition matters a lot. People think people will just walk and buy the painting. That's why some people stop on the highway and buy the painting on the streets. And that's why some people will go into the studio and buy the painting. Because when you go to a professional artist, there are certain things the collector, I would say, will be looking for. Composition, subject, history of the artist, history of the work that he or she is going to buy, the technique the artist apply. What makes people look at a piece longer than they will look at other pieces? Is it just a dab of color on canvas, or there's a technique? And as I was saying, this is how I tell my students. When your work is placed among other works, whether in a museum, whether in a gallery, or whether in a home, in a private collection, when people are going around in the hall, when they see your art piece should be able to hold them in their movement. For someone who is walking in a hall and they see a work hanging on the wall in a distance, and they will stop. That's one. You stop.
Leslie, before you continue, what will make that person to hold them up? What is in the art that is going to talk to them?
That is good. That's a good question. What holds the viewer when people come to a show? A lot of things can hold them, but the first thing that holds them in their track, in their movement, is the colors. he or she is moving in this exhibition hall, and they got a brochure, they're looking through the brochure, and they're looking like this all in the hall. And there's a color that they're going to see somewhere, pop, and they stop in the track. Now, they stop, the color makes them to stop. You need another level to take them, to make them move towards your artwork, to change their track, where they were going. They go now they want them to move into your place. And why would they move there? Is the next thing I'm going to move in there is the composition. The color stop then, but now what they are looking at, the placement of the elements, the composition. If they start with one color is monotone, it's just red, or just palm, it just go because it's just a red. But if the red and it's come with other things, other elements, size, shape, form, and composition, then they will move closer to that piece. They move closer to the piece. They will get closer, maybe they'll be like 36 inches away from it, and they are looking. And then there's another way I want to take them. That's how I paint. I have to stop the people in their track, in their movement, bring them to the piece, and I have a final step. I wanted to go closer to the piece. I wanted to go as far as like their face should go to the painting like 2 inches away from the painting because they're not allowed to touch it. And now, how do you make the viewer to come like 2 inches away from your piece? Is the details, the techniques, the way you apply the brush strokes, the way you attain the elements that you are drawing. Is it a bucket that you have drawn? Is it a simple broom? Is it a stick? Is it a piece of fabric? Is it an old cup? Is it a spoon? How did you achieve that? How did you attain it? How close did you interpret just by strokes? That's what makes the viewer to go like 2 inches away from the work. And then they will shake their head and say, wow. When people look at my, that's why I always try to achieve in all of my pieces. Once that happens, I'm satisfied. And when I go in an exhibition, I'm watching, I'm looking at people how to move. And that happens most of the time when people are seeing, when people are looking at my work. So that's it. First, you have to hold them by the color. And the next thing is your composition, how you place the element, what they are looking at, how is that object, why is this thing that they are looking at? And then the final one is the detail. How you pay attention to the detail, how you achieve the things that you have achieved. Is it a portrait? If it's a portrait, how did you do that face? How is that eye? Can the human that's looking at it relate it? You know, that's why when we quoted it from the beginning, you know, it's a reflection of ourselves that speaks to the viewer. See? So,
Frank,
yeah.
Frank, you are agreeing with Leslie. You want to add to that?
Oh yeah, I mean, he's very, very spot on with everything he said. You know, I mean, especially for painting, like I said, I mean, for me, I've done a few paintings, but I definitely I can attest to what Mr. Leslie is referring to, man. You know, attention to detail is very important. In you know, I've definitely seen some artwork. I've been in museums, and you know, certain pieces would definitely just draw you. And sometimes you'll go there and just stare at it for maybe 25 minutes and just wonder, man, how did it get this, you know? And that's the whole point of it, man. Just having that person just, you know, daze and get lost in your work and using the brush strokes, you know. For example here, I mean, I can show you like this piece I did, the brushes of the water, you know, just to give it that little detail,
yeah,
you know.
yes.
You know, I think that's what he referring to, you know, the brushes of the hut, you know, just having that there and giving it that realistic look. You know, sometimes will draw the audience in. So yeah, I definitely agree with that.
So Leslie, you have done some solo exhibition, group exhibition, and then you have some commission and contracts. Some of your solo work include Liberia striding forward in the aftermath of Ebola.
Yes.
Leslie, 10 years of painting, West African paintings you have done, or some group exhibition, No Border. Then there's a French warrior.
Yeah.
Louis Simon Grandi.
Yeah.
And then,
Louis Simon Grandi.
Right, Through Your Eyes. Talk to me about this work that you did briefly. And then you also have some contracts. It looks like you're making some good money here. You developed the illustration on the behavioral change of Action Aid Liberia to educate key population.
Yeah.
Okay, I think you are consulting work with UNICEF.
Yeah.
The Liberia Teacher Training Program, LTTP. Talk to me about all this work briefly.
Well, yeah, we start from the beginning. The Through Your Eyes art exhibition we had in '93. That was when I was featured along with the Laila Wanchu Major and Anthony Napla. We had at the National Museum. That was my first time appearing with professional artists, and the exhibition went well. It was well organized because working towards the exhibition, Wanchu Major arranged, decided that we all work together in one place. Of course, other artists decided to work from their private studios, but I was one of those that decided to work to where all the rest of the artists were working. And being my first time painting, it was a bit of a struggle for me. But Wanchu will always come around and say, "Hey, my man, what are you doing there? What are you doing?" So, and he would guide me. You don't do this, you don't do that, And I followed those instructions from him. And on the exhibition, I did 3 paintings, and all 3 were cool, and I was really happy. And that was a good exhibition. And then after that, things got a bit difficult in Monrovia. And there was a couple of journalists came around Monrovia and did a very short documentary on me. And it came up, and it was all in the media all around the world. And there's a long story. So I have to leave Liberia and went to Ivory Coast, and I started collaborating with other artists in the French, that Francophone country. And then that's how I went to Gabon, and I had an exhibition there. It was a solo show, and I went to South Africa, and on the invitation of a friend, I was working with CNN, and I had another, solo exhibition. And then, but I was always based in Ivory Coast, and I was always working there. So they really been great. But the Louis Monkey Rounded exhibition that was last year, it was actually inspired by this poster you see there. That it is called Lumière d'Afrique. It is an exhibition that is actually on a world tour now. It started in Paris in 2015 September. And it's been to a couple of countries. I think currently it should be in Geneva now. And there are plans for it to bring that show to Washington. It's an exhibition that features 54 African artists from each African country. And I'm one of the artists in that exhibition. I'm representing Liberia. I'm grateful to God for that and to the organizers for the exhibition. So when the exhibition moved to Abidjan, because from Paris, it came to Abidjan, and Abidjan went to Dakar and Ethiopia, all these places. And a lot of people visited the exhibition in Abidjan, and including the director of the Louis Simon Girandou Gallery, Madame Girandou herself. She's an art historian. She's an elderly woman, an art historian. And she knew me when I was in Ivory Coast, as in exile, as a refugee, quote-unquote refugee. And I used to visit her gallery, but she never exhibited my work. My works were exhibited in other galleries, 2 main galleries in Abidjan. But Madame Girandou couldn't exhibit my work because it was a gallery of professors. We had the professor from Ghana, Ablade Glover. You have these university professors in Abidjan. They had their work there. So, I mean, she just couldn't work with Leslie. I mean, you could just tell. I couldn't even go there and say, Madame Girandou, can you represent me? No. But when she visited Lumière d'Afrique, and when she saw it, I was shocked. She walked to me and she said, Leslie, félicitations. She shook my hands. She said, she had a catalog. She said, "What you need to talk to the manager of my gallery because we want to exhibit your work. We have to exhibit it next year." So I was very much impressed, and I came home and we started exchanging emails, and a contract was drafted, and I did the work. I was featured with another young artist, upcoming artist, and then I will have an exhibition, and it went very well. And yeah, it was really great. And now they are also talking about having us to do another show. Well,
So let me ask you the same question I asked Frank about selling your work. I know you sell them, and if we want to buy them, how can we get them? And just give me an example. For instance, if I show this, how much will you sell this? You know,
I know you didn't sell it.
You,
I don't discuss prices. I don't like to discuss prices.
Okay.
Like, forgive me.
That's fine. That's fine. But normally, you sell your work. Where do you sell them, and how can we find them to buy from you? Tell my viewers.
You always contact me. I have my website. Fortunately, and also unfortunately, all the works on my website are sold. So people get to me and through my email, and sometimes it's word of mouth. They see my work somewhere and they contact, how did you get this work? And they say, it's Leslie. And they contact me through my website, and we send emails around. Sometimes I'm very careful. Sometimes people come with scam, and I don't reply to some people. They want to hack your account and all that stuff. So, but when the legitimate people are online, you can know. So we communicate, and then we talk on a professional level, because that's all professionalism. The way you talk to them in your email, the way you talk to them about the commission piece, and they will understand. You say, look, what you are telling me, you want to commission me. Is that it? The guy will say, I want to commission you. And okay, and then you give him the advantages. Okay, what do you want? He tells you what he or she wants. And then you say, okay, I'm going to give you 2 sketches of this thing you want, and you can choose one, and you can modify. You can tell me what to add and what not to add. And then after that, the sketch, and I will do the drawing on canvas, and the clients follow the process of me doing his or her commission piece. So the person is actually a part of it. So when there's a fee to pay, it's not like, that's why I tell people, art piece, it's not like you walk in the supermarket and the tags are all there and you say, and you say yes, and that's that. No, art is more than that. Art has to do a lot with us as human beings. So the person has to be within the context of the piece. The person has to be within you as an artist, and you have. So when there's a fee, when there's a price, they understand that, But while you see artists in the street, on the beach, on the roadside with their artwork, and some of the artists, how much is that? He will say it's $25 United States dollars. He just say, well, I've been thinking, and the guy wants to buy it, he buy it and go, and the deal is done. I mean, nobody cares who is the artist, and that and it's finished. But that's not it. That's not how I work. Everybody that has ever bought my work from the 90s, they still know me. They still contact me. Recently, I was posting them on my work that were bought in the 90s, in the 2000s. I've been contacting people that have my work, and I've been reposting these on Facebook. There's one that came from Florida, and the guy bought our from me, Abidjan. Now he's in Florida. There's one that came from Australia. So they remember, that's money, cash is one, but the person that doing the artwork. That's why I tell my colleagues, we have to be careful what we do, because as an artist, when people have your piece hanging in their home, all they want is good news about you from you. If the news change, if there's bad news, nobody want to keep your painting in their home. The same thing go for the musicians. if a musician is famous and for some reason is involved in certain things, and the public don't want to identify with them anymore, they withdraw these things. I think recently I was reading the news from some country about a soccer team that was abusing the female players. And there's a sponsor from another country. And the sponsor said, hey, we're not going to work with you any longer. So this is how it works with the artist, even with us as artists.
Mm-hmm.
Once your action changes, is no longer in line with what people expect it to be, they don't want to identify with you. They don't want to buy your album. And it's very simple because the audience we're dealing with is very small. Just connection. They will just say, oh, let's say this guy, this artist take people to court. Don't go to him. Oh, let's say, did you hear the news? So all these things that people avoid, people like peace. People don't want to have any trouble. Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, that's it. So I can call prices, even sometimes people call me on the phone, they say, how you did it? I said, no, I just don't go around calling prices like that. It doesn't make sense, Yes, I need cash, I need money, for sure. But you have to do it in a very respectful and professional manner.
Good. So Frank, you left Liberia when you were 13 years old, but you are still connected. I see in some of your work, Liberia coming out.
That's
to
right.
what extent do you follow what is going on in Liberia so as to pin stuff also about Liberia and still be connected to your roots?
Oh man, for me it's just just my memory, growing up, from what I can remember, man, I had a very good childhood back there, back home. Just the freedom that I had, and I always like to, even my teacher that I came with, know your roots. I would want to stay connected back home, growing up in Lowell, Massachusetts, most of my friends are, community, most of them were Liberians, so including, even from my parents and just hearing all these stories. So I always like to go back, and tap into that, into the history. So that's why I always like to do work of I always enjoy African art, and paintings, and especially, seeing Leslie's work, is very, very inspiring. So that's why sometimes I try to, take my memory back home sometimes and do some work, about villages, and do some work about, people just, marketplaces, and always sticking to our culture, because I think, Africa, man, is just so rich, it's a very rich continent, and there's so many forms of art, not only Liberia, but all over Africa, West Africa, East Africa, and there's a lot you can tap into. So that's why I always like to reference from that, and just to piggyback on what Leslie was saying earlier about selling work. I kind of agree to that too, man. You have to make your work very, very, very personal. So for me, you just won't call prices. That's why, and I definitely agree with what he said about, just giving out random prices, because you have to make it. It's a whole process, and for those that understand it,
yeah,
know it, because you somehow just say, okay, how much this thing costs, because you can tell, and for me, I've seen work where people ask me to do work for them, and then sometimes they'll be in a rush, they want to just go get something random, and then I can tell the difference. I say, okay, that piece is just done because somebody just did it, but you have to do work with soul. You can definitely see a work that's been done, just somebody taking pictures and or image and words and just put it together. Then somebody already sitting down and composing, placing, using hierarchy and using the little simple system in the whole creative process. Yeah. So, and Yeah, that's why sometimes work takes long. You know, people be like, oh, how come this stuff taking 2 weeks, 3 weeks? But no, sometimes you have to go around and change certain colors, and just from everything that you learn. You know what color go with certain color go with certain colors. Or certain image go with certain image, and just that process. And it takes a while, but you just don't rush it.
Yeah, yeah. So, and both of you, do your work have names? Let's say if you come up with a particular painting, like what I was showing, for example, Leslie, do you give them name to each of these work that you do?
Yeah, each piece has a title. Yeah, each piece I do has a title. Yeah.
Same with you, Frank?
Yeah, some of them. Yeah, that's some of them. I just do it, but it's a good idea to actually to give it a title. But no, I don't title most of my work, but some of my work, yeah, some of my pieces, I do put titles on it as well.
All right.
Yeah, and yeah, he's right. You have some work that are recorded in history, and it's on untitled. I mean, that's how it goes. Sometimes the artists leave it to the public to decide the title, and it's good also. Like that, you want the viewer to be a part of the other creative process. Yeah, artists have done it. Great artists have done it in the past, and it's still happening. Yeah, some people leave their work untitled because they want the public to enter out the piece.
I know. Let's discuss the role of this artwork in the rebuilding of our country in whatever we do. Like for instance, there's a book here, and Frank, you did this cover. There's a Liberian Service book, and I see, Leslie, you did some work on Ebola, some painting, and all those different things. So, what is the role of your artwork or artists in general in rebuilding Liberia, especially coming from war and all this? And what role can you play? Let me start with Frank.
Okay. For me, man, I know I left that country a long time ago, and I do want to go back and give back. So, that's why I want to I do most of my work. Sometimes I will references to the lifestyle of being back home, but in the long run, I would love to go back home and actually teach hands on, and show the younger generation the creative process of doing certain things, from how I learned it from taking a simple sketch, how to turn a simple dot into this creative, into this great poster. So how the whole process goes, and I think that's the fun of art for me. That's that whole process is what bring the art to life. So that part of it, I want to be able to teach that, and someday back home.
Okay. Good. And Leslie, let's talk about art and the role it can play in that rebuilding, reconstruction, and the overall growth of the country.
We are already playing our role. We are already doing what we can do. We are doing as much as what we can do. That's why you have even discovered us. That's why you have us here tonight, is because we are already doing what we ought to be doing. And then, yes, we have to give back. That he said, Frank is in there, we have to give back. I'm already doing that here. But we can only do as much as we can do. Honestly, I don't like to say the government should do this, the government should do that. No, I don't like to say that. I just do what I have to do. And I do my very best to achieve that. But our state, the state also has to do her part. You see, because we've done our part. We are doing what we can do. People have got to know our names. People know Frank. People know myself. Outside of the United States, they know Frank. Outside of Liberia, they know me. Via our works, through what we are doing. Artists, all we can do is do our work, and our work go out and become ambassadors for us. Like a lot of countries, and we got to know some countries through certain artists. For instance, like if you were talking about Haiti, what's it called, this guy named Wycliffe, right?
Yeah.
Okay. When you talk about when we were coming out, we read Things Fall Apart, as you and myself were discussing earlier. When you read Things Fall Apart, it was just Nigeria. You hear songs, Sonny Okoso, it was just Nigeria. And you hear Prince Nico, it was all Nigeria. Only for us to be found that Prince Nico was actually from Cameroon, but he was in Nigeria. So it's art. We can just do as we can do. We just do our work. And then our stakeholders now, which is I would say, I don't like to say the bounty, but it's one of the things that they have to do. We know the state has a lot of tasks to carry on. You have education to look after, you have health, you have agriculture program, you have infrastructure development. So you're not going to tell any government to see about Leslie, who is, let's say, just one guy in the country. So, but we can only do it
Right.
and do our best so that our voices can be heard out there. And if the state is in need of people like us, then they can call us, and then we can contribute in the way we can. And yes, we cannot solve all the problems in any country. We are not claiming that, but definitely we can advance suggestions that, if here too, and that can bring significant changes.
I like when you said that, people, because of Bob Marley, a lot of people know about Jamaica.
Yeah.
So like when we go back, and I read in one of your interviews that you paint what is around. So when people at a certain time, so when refugees or people returning from their refuge countries back to Liberia, so your painting center around that. Yeah. Now when there was Ebola, your painting center around Ebola. So as time goes by, people can look at those paintings and know what was happening at that particular time. And I thought that was profound.
Yes. It's a chronicle we are doing around here. It's a colorful history. It's history in color. Yeah. In the 90s, my paintings were all rebels, relief services, humanitarian services, people running hectare scatter. And then, but now it's more peaceful, It's, but if they change the rhythm, then we change the rhythm, It's the system changes, but we know nothing's going to change for the world. We're going to continue moving toward the better. Yeah,
that's right.
Okay, we got 5 more minutes. Let's talk about your hope for the future of art in Liberia. What trend do we see, and what's the hope?
No, I'm very much hopeful.
No, I say any one of you can take the question.
Okay, Frank, you want to take it first?
Oh yeah, I'll just add. I mean, for me, man. I mean, I first of all, I'm very much inspired by your work. Just to know the amount of rich history that you have told us, and I've definitely learned a lot, man. And to actually to see that as real artists back home that as striving, is great to see. I always admire artists, and for me, what I would like to see in the future, I mean, when I do have a chance to come back home someday, I will, in my retirement age or whatever, but just to help out, just to see art, just to see more people involved in it, just to see people helping out, because art is definitely a stress reliever. For people that don't know it, for me, sometimes just grabbing the canvas and saying and painting, that's you just take your mind from the chaos that's going on around you. Sometimes you just need that relief, and That's what it does for people. It's like a therapy. So for me, from the experience I've had with working with kids with developmental disabilities or just troubled teens, I think having a form of art structure where you can teach kids or even teach adults that are going through certain situations, just using art as therapy. I think it's something that I would love to be part of someday, and definitely would like to see back home. And then also a museum. I was going to ask Leslie about that. I don't know if there's a museum back home where, or if it's something that they're trying to do where, people can go and actually see some, our local artists work.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. We have a
And
museum.
it's important you said that, Frank, because even now they say engineering students and all this technology and the sciences, they are taking art classes because before everybody wants to be this guru technology guy, but now they are taking one or two art classes or literature or creative writing, something as to as a stress reliever, as a therapy, as he said. So let me come to you, Leslie. What's your hope for artwork in Liberia for the future?
Yeah, the future for the art industry is bright. I can see it very bright in Liberia. Yeah, we have a lot of energetic artists coming up, and they are doing excellent. They are doing really great, and they are ambitious. So yes, I see a very bright future for that. And yeah, being that most people are now doing art, at the university level, to upgrade their courses or to kind of open their imagination is also good. So we are going to have a high incident of number of people that are going that are now going to have knowledge on the art, about the art. Yes, our friend, we have a museum now. The museum was bad some years back, but now it's actually up to date. It's like it's a state of the art museum now. Honestly, I can tell you that it's full AC, and then you have wide screens there, running still slides, and some running live videos. And you have a lot of things there. You really have a lot of, and people are still putting things there. It's right on Broad Street, and yeah, I was impressed. I've been going there, and I'm highly impressed. There's a lot of stuff there. There's a lot of stuff in there. They even have the vehicles that were used by some of our former presidents, late presidents. The vehicles are there, and so really nice. So yeah, there's a bright future for the art. But we as artists, we don't have to keep working, and the way we are working, so that society and authority can notice our effort, and then probably they can call on us to contribute in one direction or the other. Yeah.
Thank you. Any final thoughts? Let me start with you, Frank. Your final thoughts before we close the broadcast.
Oh yeah, man. I just want to thank you first of all for giving me this opportunity to showcase some of my work and just to let people know about what I do. And it's a great forum, and also nice to meet Mr. Leslie. We'll definitely keep in contact. Definitely inspired and impressed by your work. And final thoughts is just as an artist, man, you gotta keep going. You gotta keep striving. It never ends. You can be disappointed, and let your work speak. For me, I always let my work speak for itself. I don't like to brag about my work. I let people to be satisfied about what you do, and that gives me joy. It's not even about money. Sometimes I've done work where I charge people way less than the effort I put in. But sometimes it's just about the satisfaction of the customer and making sure that they appreciate it, because it's not easy to create great art. Like I said earlier, certain people, they just cut and paste and take the easy route. But to find real good artists that put in time, you'll tell from a work that somebody put some time in. So it's appreciating the work.
Thank you. And Leslie, in your final thoughts, you can also talk about the school that you established. So, because I don't want for us to miss that, because you are doing a great work with the young kids. So you
Yeah,
can talk about that and then give us your final thoughts.
yeah, we have the Liberia Visual Art Academy running. We started running it since 2010. It's an after-school program basically, and it's free. We rely on donors and you know friends to help our administrative costs, our supply and what have you. And we're always making requests, and yeah, because it's free because parents here are already paying a lot of money to get their kids in regular school. And if you tell them they should pay for art classes, some of our parents, they don't really understand what art is yet. So they will say, hey, what's the problem here? How can I pay X amount of money for this thing? This is just fun. I don't have. So we just let the kids do it, and then we are kind of, they love doing what they are doing, and they do their work, they take it home. The parents are kind of liking it. Sometimes there are some projects, there are some workshops, there are some collaboration with artists coming to Liberia, want to do some project with Leslie. And then when I call them, the children, they come and the parents are, so the attention is shifting towards that. Now they see, some guys who come from Geneva and run a workshop for 2-3 days with Leslie and the students. And the parents come and say, oh, so this thing goes this far. I said, yes, this is how it goes. But so now the parents are seeing it. So once that momentum is there, they get it to know that this thing has value and they can make a living out of it tomorrow. Then maybe in a couple of years' time, you can let parents to pay. But for now, they are not really paying. So yeah, as a final word, honestly, we've said most of these things. I'm honestly grateful to your platform, to you and your entire hardworking team. Once again, my hearts go to the Biri family of one of your consultants. He's our brother, Liberian, our dad, our uncle, our friend. And but nevertheless, you keep the torch burning because it's the desire of all of us, whether we're alive or not alive, And for a long time, we haven't really have recorded Liberian, art history. So now that you have this, we are talking here tonight, today for you guys in America. And it's good. It's very good. It's the beginning of documenting our artistic, our art journey.
That's right.
So yeah, so we are really happy for this, and I was also thrilled really to be here tonight, with my young brother Frank. Frank, I heard about you, and I got to me. You did the logo, and I went on your page. I saw what you are doing. I'm highly impressed. Anyway, asking you left Liberia many years ago, but you still see Liberia, the traces of Liberia in your work. It will always be there because you are a Liberian. It's in you. It's always in you, no matter where you go. So Dennis, that's different. It will always be in him. It's like you, Dennis. You're there, but you're reaching out to us here. It's always there.
That's right.
So, once again, we are grateful. We are delighted, and we'll say a big thank you to all of you guys. And just keep this up, man. Please keep this up.
Thank you. And I want to thank you, gentlemen, also for coming. I know in these days where things like art, especially in Liberia, these things are not really promoted. People don't make that much money as they would do in other places, but you guys still keep working and doing your best. So I want to really appreciate the work that you are doing and then trying to give back even to the younger generation. That's truly, truly commendable. And so I want to thank you guys for taking up the time. I know it's past 12 midnight at your end, but you were able to still be with us. And Frank, thank you so much as well for coming. We want to thank our viewers on our YouTube. I know our Facebook was difficult, but I want to thank our viewers watching us from across the world. A special thank you to my guest relations manager and also my product engineer, Stephanie Setro. And my co-host, Danielle, is off today. And from all of us here, I want to say thank you so much for coming. I want to thank our viewers and thank all those that continue to support us. We are here because of you, and we want to do our best to promote Liberia. We want to elevate, to educate, and to promote everything Liberia, because Liberia is the only country we have. And if we can each do our respective part, I know it's very tempting to try to mimic other people because they are popular in what they are doing, but we all can be, musicians, we all can be footballers, we all can be politicians, we all can be teachers, we all can be doctors. But if all of us brighten our little area, Liberia will truly be that glorious land of liberty that we all envisage. I want to say thank you again. Good night and God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.